and I am the partner account manager that looks after all our partners in the rest of Africa. I'm actually based in South Africa, but very much my second home is the greater the greater Africa. And thanks for inviting me to the call today. It really is a pleasure to join you and the people on the call. And this is something that Dale and I have spoken about extensively. We actually had a really good conversation about this great, wonderful platform that we virtually allows us to bring people who are interested in learning more about the world of open source, the world of Red Hat, and what there is out there that can help customers and partners change the way we do business. We saw that in the COVID times. That is when we became more and more prevalent and relevant to customers that use open source. If we look at it, probably about 90%, maybe even 95% of all customers out there have some sort of open source strategy in their environment. And we as Red Hat are very proud to be the leader in open source technology. And Dara, I really think this is a great platform to bring a community together to learn more about the world of Linux, the world of open source, of all things Red Hat. Dara, you're one of our longest standing premier partners, and for the greater audience out there, that is a tier of partnership that we have at Red Hat. But I want to mention one other thing, and this is probably the most important thing, is that Deo and his team are our only official training partner in West Africa. And training is something that is so vitally important when it comes to customers and learning about technology and getting taught the right way. So to our friends on the call, you are in the right hands. The team from Global Virtual Nigeria, what we refer to them as Global V, just to shorten it. Global V is probably the way most people recognize you, are the best people to help guide you in your journey. I'm also going to offer my guidance to anybody out there. We will be, I think maybe the community has probably met Toby once or twice on the call.
Yeah.
I'm actually up in Nigeria in
a few days.
In a few days' time, I will be up in Nigeria. For the other community that is on here, I also travel from South Africa. We look after 21 countries. We look after all the English-speaking countries in Africa. I'd love to say I get to all of them. The majority of my time is spent in East and West Africa because they are really our main hubs, that being Nigeria and Kenya. Dea, I really think that this initiative is, it's kind of where you get lost for words at how good these sort of forums are, and I'm happy to join on these kind of forums, and I hope to meet some of the community that's on during my travels. And really thank you for being an advocate and really flying that Red Hat flag high and helping our community learn more about. And I need to apologize. I'm not dressed in swag today. It's one of the.
I'm doing that for you already. Thank you very much, Andrew. To be honest, what the way we see this is taking away the obstacles between people and knowledge, and because on the average, people got to deal with approvals, they got to deal with quotes, they got to deal with negotiation, all of those things before they get to knowledge. This is just an exciting way to get people straight to knowledge. Somebody is interested in learning something, and we get straight to the knowledge. One thing I wanted you to experience today, though, is to sit here and quickly, for the next few minutes, see our quiz. I have just put in a link in the chat, guys. Please go ahead and click on the link. With that link, you'll be able to participate in this quiz. Obviously, the only person not allowed to be a part of this quiz will be Andrew, and also members of staff of Global V. But everyone else should please lock onto the link. What we have for you as winning prizes are interesting, and we hope that in the next 5 minutes we'll be able to find out who our top 3 guys will be. Again, it's all about just trying your hands on what works and trying your hands on something that you have learned before today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for transparency.
And Dave, you know what, another thing to add to it is if people don't know the answers, this is the forum where they will get to learn the answers. So,
Exactly.
we say there's no wrong answer. There probably could be a wrong answer, but this is a forum. And this is what's great about this forum. It gives people the right understanding of how the products are and what they can do.
Exactly, without the pressure. Without the pressure at all. So, and this is the final leaderboard. Put your hands together for Enoch. Enoch will be our winner for today. It's not about even getting the question right. It is who got the question right the fastest. Okay, so who is Enoch? Could you please introduce yourself and tell us where you are joining from, and give a winning speech, if you may. 1 second, is Enoch here? Let's see. Enoch,
hello, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so that we don't take your prize and give to someone else. Enoch, please introduce yourself, what firm you are representing, and give us your winning speech.
Okay, so I'm Goodman with eProcess, Ghana, part of the Unix and storage administration team. So
Okay.
basically, we are the one who monitor the Unix environment. We're the one who manage them. So yeah.
Fair enough.
With the winning speech, I don't really know much to say. But what I can say is that this bootcamp has been insightful. At least it has taken me back to the basics to learn some things I've forgotten. So like I said, it has really been insightful. It has helped me a lot. So, and thanks for the opportunity. So
All right, sure. You are welcome. Let us get today's class started. For those that joined late, there might be another opportunity to jump on another quiz before the end of the day, but we want to ensure that we quickly drive the class going forward. But as we move on, I would like to really ask for any questions from yesterday or day before we start. Today is going to be very, very deep and technical. If there's something that is still shaky from yesterday or day before, please say it now so that we can quickly get through it and we get on. And if you want to go the introvert route, that's okay as well. You can put the question in the chat. Okay. It seems like there are no questions. All right, so we're getting started. Today, we will be talking into the technical side of things. We will be looking at how we can how we can change ownership, how we can deal with permissions, how we can, this sits at the core of who you are as a Linux administrator or a support person. This is what sets you apart from those people that just have an idea of what Linux is all about. We're starting now, and hopefully you will be able to carry on. I want to get my instructor machine on now. Okay. And the code is 434341. Okay. So now we are in. Admin, can you please let my instructor machine in?
Recording in progress.
Okay. Let's get started. Here's my pen. And we will get into something interesting today. So at this point, if there is anything that is confusing at any point in time, please call me back, because if you let this one go too deep, you find yourself lost for long, and then you will not be able to match up. So let's get started. Share a whiteboard here. So a new whiteboard. All right. Please try to stay away from the whiteboard. I'm allowing participants so that I can draw from the other pad now. And I know that, usually when I say stay away from the whiteboard, some people will now be testing to see if they're able to put something on the screen. Okay. I've just gotten confirmation that the second quiz is coming up. So for those of you that came in late, that's okay. Let's get started. Now, in Linux, there are 3 major permissions that are possible. Okay, so there is the read permission, let's make sure you can see the screen. There is the read permission, there is the write permission, and there is the execute permission. Now let's keep that aside. Okay. And then let's go ahead and talk about ownerships, right? There are 3 types of profiles that we can, focus on for every file that is created. So if you create a file called file1, right, that file1 will most likely have something we'll call maybe the user or the owner. Okay. Next, there will also be the group. And then others. And I want you to really focus and dive deep into what we're talking about here, because even if you've been a Linux administrator before now, there are some areas that we will touch that will come to life for you. Now, when we talk about the owner or the user, this is the person who created the file. Let's assume that Enoch created a file, or maybe Enoch is part of a department called application support, right? So for that application support team, Emmanuel now created a file called file 1. The owner of the file will be Emmanuel. Sorry, it will be Enoch. I was using Enoch before. Enoch. They say Enoch did not die a natural death. He just went to heaven like that. Enoch, is it true? Now he went to heaven. Let us know.
It's true.
It's true. Okay. So you have seen heaven before, Charlie? Charlie, if you don't go heaven before, who named said
Not
Minewa?
yet.
Who named said Minewa? Whatever you brought from there, All right. So if Enoch is a member of application support, that means that the group will be application support. And anybody else that is not a member of the group and that is not the owner, they are all regarded as others. So all of you that are in customer support, all of you that are in infrastructure, anything else that you are outside application support and this person, then you are regarded as others. If you understand this so far, please put 1 in the chat. Because it gets very, very deep from here, especially for those of you that are learning Linux for the first time. Okay, thank you. No zeros. For those of you that are joining for the first time, if you understand something, you put in 1. If you don't understand, put in 0. If you're not sure, you're just not 100%, you put in dash. All right, Chris, I'm going to go over it for your sake again. Chris, what department are you in? Chris Ibe. Chris, are you here? Yeah, what department are you in at work? Like, are you in application support? Are you in infrastructure? Chris, are you here? You are in application support. Okay, thank you. So as a member of the application support team, let's say you create a file. You create the file yourself on a server, and you name that file 1. Let me put that here. You name that file 1. You, Chris, you will be the owner of the file because you are the one that created it. Your colleagues that are in application support with you, all of them will be regarded as the group. They'll be regarded as the group. And then anybody else, regardless of who they are, even if it's Tony Lumelu in UBA, everybody else is regarded as others. A good example for everyone to be able to follow again is in your house. Let's say you are the father, you are married, and you are the father, you have 2 kids with your wife. If you buy in fact, the house that you are living in is your own. So let's say the house, you bought a house. The owner is Joy. No, okay, Joy. Let's say Joy. Joy is the owner of the house. The members of your nuclear family, Joy, your husband and your children, they will also be able to lay a claim on the house because they are your family, which is the group. They have some certain amount of claim on this house. Not as strong as the owner. Even if you are a nice person, you allow them live there, but it's still your name that is on the paperwork that you are the owner. But your family will be your group. Any other person, either friends, acquaintance, extended family, they are all regarded as others. So there will always be user, group, others for every file that you create. All of those files will have that categorization. Somebody will be the user, somebody will be the group, somebody will be other people will be others as regards to that file. At this point, I believe everybody understands. Put a 0 in the chat if you do not understand. It gets deeper from here. Okay. All right. Now that it looks like everyone understands, let's take it a little deeper. Let's take it a little deeper. So, if you now create a file called file1 here, and Chris is the owner, application support is the group. And there are others. So this is the same thing as UGO. So if I write this UGO like this, nobody is confused. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, there are certain types of permissions that people will have differently. You know now, like I said, as the owner of the house, the permissions that you have is different from your family members that are in the house with you. So, there are 3 types of permissions that we most likely look at in Linux. There is the read, there is the write, and there is execute. Now, here, on some files, most of the time, the owner of the file may be able to have read, write, and execute permissions, right? And I'll break down what read means, write means, and execute permission first. So if it's a file, say a text file, read will mean that you as the anybody who has read permission will be able to open the file and read what's inside. For that file, write means that you are able to open it and you are able to edit it. Edit and save. And also delete. Execute means that if it's an executable file, for those of you that are coming from your world of Windows, all those something.exe, maybe you want to install something, then you download the application and you want to run it, right? If you don't have execute permission, you won't be able to run it, right? So, permission to run exe files. Let's just put it that way. Now, if it's a directory, you all know what a directory is now because we are all professionals now. We're not going to be saying folder anymore. All right. If it's a directory, it's a little different. Read means that you'll be able to ls the directory to see what's inside the directory. Write means that you will be able to create files and folders and directories inside that directory. You will be able to delete things from that directory. And you will also be able to delete the directory. As what write permission will be. Execute permission. Has anybody ever heard this phrase that, how can you be hating from outside the club? You are hating on those that are inside the club. You cannot even get in yourself in the first place. So execute permission. If you don't have execute permission, according to a directory, you are not even able to enter the directory in the first place. You are not able to enter the directory in the first place. By the end of this class, a set of 10 questions will be posted in the group. If you are genuine to yourself and you ensure that you hold yourself accountable and find a way to solve those 10 questions, believe me, your Linux career has just begun. Then you can tell yourself that, yes, you are a Linux administrator. Not all those little things that you're doing at work, copy from here. At times in your office, if many people don't know Linux, the little things that you do can seem like a big deal, right? But I'm trying to take you to the next level. So those 10 questions, try to ensure that anyone you don't know, you research it yourself and you try to fix it. So what read, write, and execute means, somebody is trying to ask a question? Okay. So what read, write, and execute means as regards a file and as regards a directory, we all now understand. If you understand, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't understand, put a 0 in the chat, please. If you are not sure, put a dash. Okay, good. I see a whole lot of ones. Thank you. Now, let us take this a little further. So now that you have understood this thing that I'm saying, you are now Linux experts. At this point, I can say that you are a Linux expert.
Put money for our pocket. This one will put money for my pocket. This one will put money for my pocket.
Christopher, I go like make you put money for my own pocket too.
Oh, sorry.
So let's make money together. You guys are going to be hearing some interesting things about us a few weeks or months from now. And, hopefully these skills can be useful. If you have the skills, don't hesitate to get into my DM and find out what might be in stock for you. All right. Let us take this to the next level now that everyone understands. Precious. I have to ensure that Precious understands you. Precious, you put in a 0. So what I'm saying is that let's use a Birkin bag, for example. So Precious, if you get a Birkin bag, let's call it a BB, right? You are the owner if you buy it. Let's assume that this was when you were in the university. Your roommates are your friends. They may be able to carry the bag and play with it and, take pictures, with it. They don't have as much right as you do to carry it outside and act like it's their own. They are your group. Any other person that is outside that room is regarded as others. Who are they to even come close to the bag, right? So now that I said that, I now went ahead to say that in your department, if you create a file called file 1, you are regarded as the owner. Or at times they call it user, right? The members of your department, they still have some rights to that file. So at least when you're on leave, they can still do some things, right? The members, your colleagues in your department will be regarded as the group. Every other person in your firm, even the gate man, is regarded as others. Even the CEO, others. So what I have said is that in a case where it's a file, those permissions differ, right? If it's a file, let's say file 1, there are 3 types of permissions. Read means that you can read what's inside the file. Write means that you can edit it, the file, and you can delete it. Execute means that if it's an executable file, you can run the executable file. Now, if it's a directory, read will mean that you can ls the directory, check what's inside. Write will mean that you can edit the name of the directory. You can delete things from inside. You can create files and directories inside. And you can delete the directory itself. Execute means that you can enter inside this directory, because if you don't have the execute permission, you can't even enter in the first place. Is this clear, Precious? Can we move on? Or do you have a specific question? Is Precious here? Okay, it's clear. All right, good. So now let's take this deeper. You're about to start raising your shoulder at work now as a Linux engineer. So now, for every file, there are 3 people involved: the user, the group, and others. And that means that there are 3 sets of RWXs. The user has the possibility of having RWX. The group has the possibility of having RWX. Others have the possibility of getting RWX. Based on the sensitivity of the file, you may decide that, okay, maybe others should have only read permission, R dash dash. Maybe your group should have RW dash. And you that you are the owner, you have RWX. Does this make sense? If you understand this, please put 1 in the chat. Chris eBay. I appreciate that. I'm going to go over it again for Chris. So what I said is that all right, Chris, let's talk so I can know how you are following. So to this point where I said every file has a user, a group, and others. You understand that part, Chris? Good. So now, there must be permissions for each of these entities, because I said, what have I done? Because I said there are 3 possibilities of permissions: read, right, execute, right? So the owner, we might say the owner can read, write, and execute. There's a possibility that group can do that too, but maybe because the file is sensitive, you only want the members of your department to only able to read and write. Maybe they should not be able to run it, right? So you say maybe RW dash, removing execute permission. Is replaceable later, but you are removing it here. Here, others you might say is R dash dash, removing W and X. Does this make sense now, Chris? All right, good. So that means, ladies and gentlemen, that as my fellow Linux engineers, if I put in this on the board now, and I say for file 1, this is RWXRWR, wait. RW dash R dash dash. That means that this should make sense to you now. If this makes sense to you, please put a 1 in the chat. Thank you. This is the only thing that is confusing you in Linux. This is the reason why they are respecting the Linux guys. So there's nothing more than this. At this point, I congratulate you. Now you have hit that level with Linux that people cannot play with you anymore. Okay, so let's quickly talk about the users, right? So for every user that is created in your Linux machine, we are going to come back to those permissions, and we are going to show you on the screen. But for every user that is created, let me look here and find one lovely name. Let's say Benjamin, Ben. So if you create a user, Alasokomi, you want to say something?
No,
All right,
no.
good. All right, good. So let's quickly look at Ben. So you create a user called Ben. For every user you create, this user must have a group, must be a member of a group. Now, this user can have a primary group. And then it can have multiple secondary groups. What does this mean? That means that, let's say, sorry, Benjamin, where do you work?
I'm a private candidate referred from
Red Hat, referred from Red
Yes,
Hat. Okay, good. So let's assume that you work with Red Hat. Let's assume that you work with Red Hat. Now, when you get to Red Hat as a member of staff, let's assume that you are in the infrastructure, or no, let's say you are in the sales department. Let's make things easy. You are in the sales department. This will be your primary group. But there are other times that they will say, oh, they are doing some sort of CSR. You guys, please volunteer. This is secondary. Oh, they are doing marketing and they would like you to something secondary. Oh, there is a joint effort to ensure that the office is clean on the day you are having the president visiting. Now you are joining those that are cleaning to just, all hands on deck. That's secondary. That's not your primary group. All of these are possible to ensure that a user has a primary group and then have as many multiple groups, secondary groups as needed. Now let's make this sound more interesting. So you're hired into UBA. You are in infrastructure as your primary duty. At times you are joining the guys in application to troubleshoot. At times you are joining the guys in disaster recovery to get things done. At times you are working with the security guys. At times you are doing some things with the network guys. All these guys are secondary. This is your primary group. Now, I want to share something with you. When you are hired into UBA and you are still doing your onboarding, say your name is Chris. A user cannot be created without having a group. But before they add you to that group, something must be holding that group position. So that means that when a user is created, a group is automatically created in that user's name. This will now be the primary group for now. And then when onboarding is done, everything, they now switch it. So you are Chris, and then your group will be infrastructure. A good story to back this up is when you are the new kid in school. You know that time in secondary school or primary school, you go to a new school. When you enter inside the school, you are not playing with anybody for the first day or two. You are watching things. You are on your own. You are in your own group while you are checking everybody out to see those that have, similar characters as you that you like. Maybe you are looking for the bookworms or you are looking for the stubborn ones. For me, I'm always looking for the playful ones. I was always playing in school, in primary school. I attended Pampas private school, by the way, just in case there are some people that went to Pampas as well. I was living in the ghetto, but I was attending Pampas private school. So you will be in your own group first before you now start finding your friend circle, and then you will now have them as those are my group. If this concept of user and group during creation is clear, put 1 in the chat. If it's not clear, put 0. If you're not sure, put a hyphen. All right. Olumide, thank you very much for that. So I'm going to explain again one more time, and then we're going to move on. Olumide, where do you work, please?
FMB.
Say that again.
FMB. FMB. FMB.
FN.
FCMB. FCMB.
Oh, FCMB. I love that bank. I love that bank. The same way UBA is my favorite bank. EcoBank is my favorite bank. FCMB is my favorite bank too. You know how... Say that again.
GT Bank.
GT Bank is also my favorite bank. Yes. You know how I'm showing you now that you can have multiple groups. So they are all my multiple groups. So let's quickly talk about this. So Olumide, what department are you in FCMB?
Infrastructure security.
Say that again.
Infrastructure security.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Infrastructure security. So when you were hired during your onboarding, it's not the first day you just went to infrastructure security now, right? They must have created some things for you. You know that you are a staff. Even if they know you are going to infrastructure security, then after giving you, maybe you had gone to a certain banking school or whatever, I don't know, whatever it is, they are going to get you set up. At that point, you are still within your own group. So it will still be Olu will be the user, and then the group will still be Olu while you are waiting to be activated within the infrastructure security group. And then when they are ready for you, they will now let you know that, oh, you are going to be in infrastructure security. Oh. Then they will now change your primary group to infrastructure, infra, sec. But that Olu can still be, it will still be there as a secondary group. But this one just becomes your primary group. They make it your primary group. Is this clearer? Olu? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Olumide. You know, my middle name is Olumide. So we are together. All right. Now let's move ahead and let's show something interesting. Now, for every file 1, on your Linux machine, you will see RWX, RW dash, R dash dash, and then you will now see Olu, Olu, all in one line. At this point, everybody should understand what this means. Or you may see file 2, and then you see RWX, R dash 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 Olu infra. By this point, everybody should understand what this means. If you understand these 2 lines, put in 1 in the chat, and let's go to our command line. Okay, so I'm getting into my machine now. I see that everybody has put in 1. Does anybody have any question at this point? Because once we get into the command line, it can look confusing, but it's something easy. My computer already went off, so I'm going to just try to get it back on. So now we understand what users are and what groups are. We understand the permissions as well. Let me. All right. Does anybody have their own computer up? You have your server up? Everybody? If you don't, do you still have the link from yesterday if you don't have a server to work with? Okay. Muma, let's work from your own machine so that at least you can take the lead. Umar, is it okay to share your screen and let's work with what you have?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'll share my screen.
All right, please go ahead. And Umar, you are with FCMB?
No, I'm with an IBSS.
NIBSS. Oh, that's my favorite settlement organization. Umar, are we still able to share your screen?
Yeah. Just a moment. Just a
Oh,
moment.
okay, you're cleaning things up. All right. In the meantime, are there any questions? So now we're going to be looking into, oh, this is beautiful. All right. So now we're going to be looking into, the only problem here is you may not exactly be able to create a user. I don't know what the root password is, but Dami, is Dami here or any, do you know what if you know what the group password is, the root password is, let us know so that this gentleman can create users. Okay, I would use my server for that. But in the meantime, can you please touch a file on the desktop? On the desktop. You know you are not on the desktop, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Linux is interesting. Beautiful. Yes. Nice. Now you're showing off. Okay, so what I want you to do is do ls-al. So now these jargons that I mentioned yesterday make sense to everyone. So at this point, everything on the screen here, you should be able to understand. If you don't understand everything on the screen, you need to ask questions now. If you understand everything that you see in the output, please put in a 1 in the chat. Okay, so Chris and Olumide, you're going to have to ask specific questions here. And Victoria, going to have to ask specific questions so that we can know what part you don't really understand. Because when you look at his screen, Umar, so when you look at his screen, you see that The file names are at the far right, right? They are last on the far right. You see there is a dot, there is a dot dot, there is a file 1, there is a file 2. If you look at the beginning of the line, you will see that dot and dot dot are directories with the D in front of them. From there, you can see the spread of RWXs. So you should be able to tell, just by looking at file 1, you'll be able to tell that, oh, okay, the owner has read and write permissions, the group has read and write permissions, and others have only read permission. And then the owner of the file is onworks. The group of the file is onworks. There is nothing inside file 1. And it was created on the 25th of July at 7:16 a.m. or p.m., whatever the location is. Is it clear now? Okay. Chris, is this clear, or you have specific questions, Chris? You're gonna have to ask specific questions, my brother. Chris Ibe. Yes, can you ask which part you're not sure of? Oh, okay. So ls command shows us what is in a directory, right? You are checking the list of what's in a directory. When you use -a, you are saying, show me everything, including the hidden files. When you use -l, you are saying, don't just show me the names of the files, show me all details about the files around these permissions and the owners and everything. So if Umar, can you do ls-a and then afterwards do ls-l? Can you see ls-a? It just gives us all the files with the hidden files. ls-l is just giving us more details about the files here. You will see that -l is not including hidden files. And all of you, yesterday we realized that hidden files in Linux is only preceded by a dot, right? A dot. If you have a dot in front of a hidden file, it's a show in front of a file name, it shows that it's a hidden file. So what I want to do for you guys to see that is, Umar, can you please make file 2 a hidden file? And while it's running that command, watch how that file will disappear from the desktop. So what you want to do is rename. You remember how to rename? Renaming file 2. Beautiful. Wonderful. So with that command, if it hits it, file 2 is gone. Is it deleted? No. It's now hidden. If it does ls now, you won't see it there. But if it now does ls-a, you will see it there. Is this clear now, Chris? Is there anyone else who is not clear? Please ask now. Okay, Linux is interesting, and most times it's all about how you can be creative enough to solve problems. All right, so let me quickly show you. Thank you very much, Umar. My own screen is up. Let me quickly share something. So if you see my screen here, pwd. That's how you see Linux. So you will see many environments, tweaked in different ways. Some will be in black, some will be in red. So I'm in /home/student, right? Now, but I'm logged on as root. So this is what I want to show you guys. Can you see that yesterday I mentioned that if you are in your own home directory, you will see that tiled right there. Now, that's this sign. Now, this is root in a student's home directory. That's why you're not seeing that tiled. If I decide to do this command now, su space hyphen, it means that I'm trying to switch to root's home directory, right? And then you will see that tiled here, showing that the logged on user is in his own home directory, right? pwd, you will see that I'm in /root. And like I said yesterday, you see that I was not lying. This is where every user's home directory is, /home/the username, and root's home directory is here. Okay, I really want us to touch a few things before we go, right? So if I create two users, I say user add, let's say Umar. Right now, I have to give Umar a password, PSSWD Umar. You notice that the password does not show on the screen, right? I will just use Q as a password. I put in Q again. It's in. To see the list of, okay, let me quickly make another user. Let's say we add another user add Chris. I say PASSWD Chris. And then I put Q. Now it's up. How do I see the list of users that I have on this server? I mentioned that cat is a command that you use in checking what's in a file. So I can cut this file /etc PASSWD, and the most recent user that was added will be at the bottom of the page. So you can see Chris is here. You can see Umar is here. Now, every user created will have a UID and a GID. In Linux, we like using IDs so that you don't make mistakes. A UID, see it like your employee number, right? So you see Umar has his own UID here, 103. The next 103 here that you see is supposed to be the group, which is the GI. This is supposed to be the GID. And you can see that Umar is still in his own group. Same with Chris. Chris, his UID is 1004. His GID currently is still 1004, meaning that he's still in his own group. Now, let us move on. So, if I log in now as Chris, I would like to be on Chris's home directory. If I log in like this, I'm only changing the user, and then it will now be in root's home directory. Let me quickly tell you about one funny thing about Linux as well. One user is not allowed in the other user's home directory. So if this is user one's home directory, user two does not have permission to be in user one's home directory. So if I only do SU here, switch user, I'm only switching the user, but I'm in root's home directory, so it's not going to work. I won't be able to do anything there. And I'm happy to show you. Look at that. PWD. You see where it is? Now look at this. Can you see that permission denied? I can't ls in root's home directory. Touch file 1 is not going to work here as well. Permission denied. Ayokunle, you wanted to ask a question. Please go ahead.
Or what? Hello, boss. Can you hear me, Dario?
Loud and clear.
Okay. So apologies. So I think the system was lagging or the screen was lagging. So at the point where we actually cut to list the user, I did not quite get the command you used to get the user. So the screen was hanging. Though I was listening, but I was
Okay.
hoping I will be able to see that command before you actually clear it out, but I could not. So I don't know if you can help me.
Ayokunle, where are you joining us from? Which firm are you representing?
UBA.
UBA. Thank you. UBA. All right. If the screen was lagging for everyone, please put a 1 in the chat so I can know how to address this. Okay, it wasn't lagging for everyone. All right, for those that it was lagging for, I would go ahead and show you again. But, all right, thank you. So, I will get back there. Let me just finish what I'm showing here. That one user is not allowed in the other user's home directory. So if I do this now, you know I'm logged on as Chris. If I do this now, if I do this CD, I'm intentionally trying to go to my own home directory, all right? So I shoot it like that. You can see that that child has shown up now. I'm in my home directory. Now I can ls, right? If I switch user to Umar, it's going to ask me for the password. The reason why I was able to switch to Chris and it didn't ask me for the password is because I was root. Root can enter anybody's space, right? So if I switch to Umar, it will ask me for password. If I put in the password, now I can get in as Umar. But you can see now that the child has changed now. It has shown Chris here. But here it was showing child because Chris was in his own home directory before. Now Umar is in Chris's home directory. And if you try the ls, it's not going to work. If you try to touch, it's not going to work. Okay. So let's go back to roots. So what I did to check the users, I said cat. There is a file called the PASSWD file, right? So I say /etc/PASSWD, and you will see the most recently created user is always at the bottom. All right.
And you have
Here.
to be a root to be able to check.
Yes, you have to be root to be able to check this, not regular users, right? And if you look at all the other users at the top, you will see that they are all system users, they're all system users. So with UIDs generally, UID 0 to 1000 is usually reserved on most servers. So the first user will most likely start with a UID 1001. Okay, now let's move on quickly so that I can show you what I want to show you. So, can Samsung mute, please? Samsung, can you please mute? Administrator, can you mute Samsung for us? Samsung SM, yeah, thanks. All right, so if you look at my screen now, let us create a group. And now I want to encourage you. There are millions and billions of commands in Linux. Trying to cram them all is just going to hurt you. Don't try to cram them all. What matters is that you know how to navigate and find what you need. This is heading to my 20th year working with Linux. And even if there are times that I've left Linux for such a long time and I've been on the strategic side of things, when I come back to the command line, I know how to find what I want. I'll give you a secret now. Right now, I'm not very sure how to create a group, right? Two different commands are conflicting in my head. But you will see how the command line will guide me based on the error messages, to create what I need to create. So let's assume I want to create a group called infra. So it's either group add or add group, right? Group add infra. Did it work? Okay, it worked. Now let's do group add application. Just like we're able to check how many users we have created, we can also check the groups in the server that has been created. This one will be etc group, not groups, group. And at the bottom, you will see that when I created a user called Umar, a group called Umar was created. When I created a user called Chris, a group called Chris was created. Now I have created infra and I have created app. All of these numbers are what we call GIDs. So every user has a UID, every group has a GID, every process has a PID, every device has a UUID. There are so many IDs in Linux. Okay, I hope this is clear. If this is clear, I'm going to move on to the next thing and then begin to append users to groups. Now let's test a little knowledge of all of us on here. As I look to check the details of a particular user, you use the ID command. And like I said, if you use ID, if you run a command without giving it an argument, it takes the default whatever. So if I run this ID now, it's going like this. It's going to be looking for the details of roots because I didn't give it any user. So now it's telling me that, oh, my UID is 0 root. Yeah, root UID is always 0. And GID is 0 as well. Groups, 0, right? Now, look at me do the same thing. ID Umar. You can see Umar has UID of 1003, GID 1003. How many groups is he a member of? Just one, Umar. All right. So let us go ahead and I think is who knows how to, let's try this. Who knows how to add a user to a group? Let's see who are the star members of our class. I want to add Umar to the group infra. Anyone? Nobody wants to try?
Maybe I'll say user mode, then the name of the user.
Okay. All right. Who just spoke? I want to have you on my radar.
That's Umar.
Umar. Okay, you're close. So it's user mode -a capital G, and then I will go ahead and put in infra, which is the group, and then Umar. I think. Okay, works. So let's ID Umar again. Can anybody tell me what has changed?
Yeah,
The groups now. The group is now.
yeah, the groups, yeah.
The
So
group
it's like
is now
the
having
second,
an
yeah, the
additional group
second group.
infra.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, what I did before was to add the capital G and the A to append the group, right? We appended the group. Now, what I want to do, and when I say append, that means that I'm not trying to overwrite the main group. I'm just adding that group, right? There's another group now that we have as the app group. Let's say he is meant to be in the app application group primarily. So for that one, I can run the same command. The only difference here is that the options here will change. It will now be a small g alone. And then if we ID Umar, can anybody tell me what has changed?
Yes, the
His primary group has
has
changed.
been changed. The primary group.
I mistakenly changed the primary group to infra, right? But let me make app the appended group now. So if we run this, is it clearer now? Can anybody tell us what's going on here now?
Yes, the appended group is now, the primary group is now infra, while the other group is app.
Thank you. Is anybody confused at this point? Okay, let's go on. So now you know how to add a user to a group. Now, Umar now has a different group, right? So if I now say SU, when I put this hyphen and I say Umar, I'm trying to switch user to Umar, but I want it to go to Umar's home directory straight. Admin, can you please help me mute Samsung?
So I have a question.
Yes, please.
So the this first command you ran for user mode. So this command you said hyphen small a and capital G. Is it the same thing as saying hyphen a space hyphen G?
Yes, now we've gone through those commands before, telling you that you can space out the options. You can say space hyphen A, space hyphen G, but that's just you having extra energy, right? Or maybe they've just given you the commands and that's how you've just been running it. Here, we're getting deeper to let you know that you can merge those options together.
Oh, I guess I missed that.
Yeah, we did that in the first or second class. Anyway, so now I'm trying to switch user to Umar, but this hyphen in the middle means that don't only switch user to Umar, take me straight to Umar's home directory as well. Right? So now I can say ls, what's in Umar's home directory? Nothing. Okay, so I can say touch file 1, 2, 3. If I do that, watch me do this. Is this making sense now? Can you see now that the group has now changed here? That means everybody is clear about this. I want to rush and quickly take us through permissions. Okay. Now, let me quickly take a poll. If you understand so far, put 1. If you are confused, put 0. I know I'll see some zeros. I need the feedback, guys, so that I can ensure that I'm tying this home. Chris, 0. Okay, Linux can seem confusing like that initially. Okay. All right. Okay, good. Chris, I'll touch base with you personally, but let's quickly, show the permission side of things. Okay. So now let's quickly look at permissions. Isiaka, what firm are you joining from so I can ensure that I reach out to you?
Hello, I'm referring to Chris. I work with Zenny Pension.
Zenny Pensions. Okay. All right, good. I'll make sure that I get back to you. You just need to hear it a second time. And
Is
with
it-
the
Actually, I'm
recording.
just joining for the first time. I'm just doing some meeting.
So it makes sense that you might be confused a bit. All right, that's fine.
Yeah.
So let me show you something real quick. All right. We're back here. So it's about to get interesting. It's about to get interesting. So now, the guy that knows Linux the most in this whole life is an Igbo boy. And I've already introduced you guys to him. His name is what? Ugo. Okay, his name is Ugo. And you see him there. Where Ugo means user, group, others. Believe you me or not, this is the most important thing you will learn in this whole bootcamp. Every other thing is just added knowledge. Now we're trying to show you how to assign those permissions, because normally when you create a file, that file may come with permissions such as rwx, rw-r-dash. So how do we play around with these permissions, right? All we need to do is use the chmod command, right? So we can say chmod, right? Let's assume now that we want to add X to group. Chmod space. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, that character I just typed here is just to denote space bar. Don't go and find it on your keyboard. Space, chmod space. Because we want to add execute to group, I will now just say G plus X space file 1. Just the file name. Either is the relative or the absolute path. I hope this is clear. Any questions with this command? If you don't understand what this command is all about, please let me know. This is very simple. I'm just saying I run this command. I say for the group, I want to add execute. And I'm talking about file 1. Simple. When you run this thing in your environment, people will be looking at you like a whiz. But that's all it is. So if let's try another one. Let's say I want to add write for others. It now becomes chmod. Others is O plus W file 1. Very simple. Very, very simple. Straightforward. Joy, do you understand?
Sorry, Dayo. So if you want to add, for example, execute on the same line for others, will it now be another plus X?
If it's on the same line, while I would say that this is a very sensitive command to be running in your environment, you want to be very sure. But if you are giving write and execute on the same line, it's simple now. You just say chmod O plus WX file 1.
So Daryl,
Yes.
I'm curious about let's look at the group.
Yeah.
The group. Now we already have write read and write. What if while adding the executable command, I want my write to be off. I don't want to give this file the write, but then I want to give it the execute. So r dash x for the group. What will I do on this first command?
Okay. So you
Is it
want to
minus
so you want to remove write, but you want to add execute.
execute? Yes.
Okay, now that we have added execute, and you see that we use positive sign to add execute, I think you know what it is to remove the write. You're a Linux engineer now.
So I will write minus w.
No, tell us the full command.
Okay, so if I'm doing
chmod.
that on the same line, or
No,
should
no,
I
no.
just do it separately?
Do it separately.
Okay, so chmod
Chmod.
g minus w, then the file name, that's file 1.
Simple. Simple.
Okay.
Benga, you understand now. Let's take a poll in the chat. If you know how to change permissions now, please put 1 in the chat. Beautiful. Thank you for the feedback, my people. We are going to take it one step higher now. Because you people now, your head is hot. Linux engineers. Yes, this is what I like to see. We are creating an ecosystem of talents. And believe you me, the reason why we are doing this bootcamp, there's a hidden reason underneath, and you guys will find out in a few months' time. We need to ensure that there's a talent pipeline for us to be able to do the amazing things that will bring us all value. Anyway, I'm not getting into the details yet, but just keep an eye out and stay in touch with the community. So let us take this a step further. So Linux go whine you, but no panic. No panic. So look at this. Even as a Linux administrator, you will find this interesting. Even if you are handling Linux every day, you might find this interesting. And you need a lot of concentration for this. So please, everybody focus here, right? This is the deepest point we will get to for this bootcamp. So look at this. Let's say we have R here, W here, X here. This command is what you want to go and use to shakara for your colleagues. Okay. Now you have R here. Joy, are you following me? Are you up to date so far? Okay, good. Joy, I want you to watch this as well. So let's assume that, not assume, it is actually assigned as R is assigned the number 4. W is assigned the number 2. X is assigned the number 1. Everything here is equal to 7. So that means that everybody understands now if I write this command like this. I'm not explaining anything, no. You could know exactly what this is. Can anybody explain to us what you think is going on here?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me try.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm assuming now that for Ugo, which is the biggest man in the class. So for
Thank you.
so for Ugo, the owner or user, right, is having 7. So that means he has every permission, read, write, execute. Then followed by the group, is having 5. So that means 4 plus 1. That means he's having only write, read, and execute. And then for others, is having 1. That means only execute is the command that is having. So we can say RWX. Yeah, you've typed it.
This is amazing. If you don't understand this, put 0 in the chat so I can explain again, because I left some things for you guys to understand by yourself. If you understand this, put 1 in the chat. I like the enthusiasm in the chat. Nice, nice. Olumide, let me explain it again. So if I say read is assigned number 4, write is assigned number 2, execute is assigned number 1. That means that if I want to have RWX, 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 because when you add all of this together, it gives you 7. That means that this is 7, 7, 7. So if you want to be taking away the permissions, small, let's say here you want to maintain the user can have 7. If you want to say group should just be R and W, this will be 4 plus 2, which will be 6. If you want others to only have read, that will be 4. So rather than use, this is what we call the symbolic mode. This is the symbolic mode. And believe you me, this is what many of your colleagues know. Some of your colleagues have this number and they use it, but they don't really know what they are doing most times. It is rare to find people that know what they are doing. Most of the time, they only have those numbers as given to them in a long command. So they just run it. The idea of this bootcamp is so you know exactly what's happening. Olumide, do we have a 1 now? Beautiful. Thank you very, very much. So let us quickly go to the command line and try a few things, and I can give you a few, And I'll share. We always when I learned Linux, myself and a lot of my friends, we always share jokes in Linux. All right. So I'm going to share some Linux jokes right after we stop. When we finish and we stop recording, I don't want those jokes to be in the recording, so that you guys can find Linux very interesting. So let us clear the screen now. Let's say ls-l. So we see file 1 is there. Okay, now we can say chmod. We can say 764 file 1. Bam. Run that command again. Can you see the difference now? You see that here there is now X here, there's W, and it wasn't there before. So if I want to remove W from the group, I can either say chmod, and I can say G minus W, and then I can say file 1. Or I can use the numeric method. Can somebody tell me what would be the numeric version of this particular command to get on file 1?
That will be 754.
Do you guys agree with him?
Please come. You said if you want to remove W.
Yeah, I want to remove W from file 1 here. This is the current permission on file 1. So if I want to remove W from group, what's the numeric version of the command?
Okay.
744.
744.
Beautiful. 744. You see, the numeric thing can be very confusing. So you must make sure that you are concentrating. You are not doing 2, 3 things at the same time, because you may just go and give the wrong permissions and think, That's why at times the symbolic method is always very safe, until you get very comfortable with the numeric one. Most of you are in a banking environment. You know what it is now. You make a mistake, they are not only firing you now, you know where you are going. But anyway, I wanted to call your attention to something. After changing the permissions of file 1, see file 1 here. What differences did you see after changing the permission, and now that we ls again?
The green color.
The file is now
Beautiful.
executable.
Beautiful. Thank you. As Linux administrators, you see that there is a color change. My brothers and sisters, investigate further. Okay? Investigate further. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to take us a little bit over time, maybe 10, 15 minutes over time, so that you guys can get the best out of this session. Okay, please. All right. So now that that's done, I also want to show you something very, very interesting. All right. So if you want to delete, so let me quickly show you something on the marker board. All right. Okay, let's get on this. It becomes really interesting here. So I want you all to focus. Check this out. So there's something called wildcards, right? I can say, let's use Linux for example, right? So if I do like this, LIN, and I put an asterisk here, I'm saying everything that starts with LIN. Does anybody know what I mean when I do this?
Everything that ends with UX.
Thank you.
Everything.
Can anybody tell me what I mean by this?
Any word that has U in between, and then NU in between, regardless of the position, anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. So after this boot camp, before that, can anybody tell me what command this is?
To remove.
That's remove command. delete.
Or you delete.
So I use this to delete file 1, and this will ask me questions, right? So imagine that I say rm space -f space file 1. This means don't ask me any question, delete it. I've put forcefully here, so it's not going to ask me any question. So there's something called recursive, and let me tell you a quick story. There was one day, I used to live in the ghetto at that time, and my neighbors were getting me angry. There were 3 boys, and I felt like I could beat the 3 of them up. I don't know what I was thinking or eating or drinking that made me think I could beat the 3 of them up. So what I did was that I didn't see the opportunity that was going to get us confrontational. So one day, while I was going to our ghetto bathroom, something happened and their mom kicked my bucket. It was the perfect opportunity to get at those 3 guys because I was looking for a reason to beat the 3 of them up. So I slapped the mom. I slapped the mom in a way that the children felt it. So that was a generational slap, right? And that's what we call recursive. You do something to like a folder or a directory, and you ensure that everything in that directory inherits those things as well. I'm not going to get into the details of what exactly happened with me and the boys. Just know that, it was a recursive slap. I'm not going to tell you who won the fight, but because that one is not your business. But let's get back here. Let's get back here real quick. And if you're interested in the story, you can enter my DM. I'll give you with facts, All right. Let us get into this. So if it's a directory, right? So can anybody tell me what this means if it's a directory? rm, where -r is recursive, f is forcefully, space dir1. What do you think I'm doing here?
This means it should delete that directory 1 and its contents.
All right, thank you. If you don't run it like this, there's also a command called rmdir. Go and look that up, right? Which is remove directory, right? I don't have the time to get into that now, but you can do like a help. You can run the command and say space -- help. But I want to give you homework today. Today is Friday. After this bootcamp, on Monday, I need somebody to please run this particular command on your live server and let me know how things go. So just go ahead and do this on one of the live servers, one of your production servers. Just say rm is a lovely command. Your boss will be very happy with you. Just say this and then just put asterisk here. Like that.
Are you referring to production server? I hope you don't want to get somebody fired.
Fired is not even enough. A person will be jailed.
This one is beyond fire though. You can't even go scot-free with this.
You want to get somebody gunned down. This is iron, sir.
Wait, so this is the only point where you guys will disagree with me as your instructor? You don't trust me?
Maybe we'll simulate that from your own production environment. What do you
Agree with staff. Like is everything no control F10.
Let me say something. Linux believes that you know what you are doing. So if you run this command, it will most likely go. Especially because you already put F. There's nothing anybody can do. This is a very dangerous command. A very dangerous command. Please, though, don't go and say I'm the one that taught you. Anyway, last thing I want to share with you is We call it FACL, right? So this is a situation where this is a situation where you want to give somebody special permission. Let me set the story for you. Say there is a file called like a salary file. Let's say salary 1. And this file, the owner has UGO. No, people will not get it this way. Let's say that there was an audit that was to happen in accounts, and it was a Linux server, and you are the CIO. The auditors are here. The guys in accounts or finance, they don't know Linux, right? So now you have to assign someone to be the hands of the auditors, right? To help them get through, right? Now that file is sensitive. Let's say sensitive 1 is a file, right? Now, obviously, you cannot. So the person that is coming from maybe infra, right? You can't give the person the ownership of this file. No. And let's say, so this is the owner. This owner definitely has RWX. The group, let's say they only have R. Others don't even have anything based on the sensitivity of the file. Now you want to send someone from infra to go and help auditors look into this server, and they will need access to this particular, let's say, file or directory. What are you going to do? Are you going to add this person as a group? Because if you add him as a group and then you give this, because auditors want to try everything, right? You give this group RWX, that means you have enabled all the people in this guy's group, and that's dangerous. You cannot add this guy, you cannot give RWX to others because of this guy. That means even the gate man will have access. So what are we going to do? Which is what brings us to FACL, right? So you have special permissions for just one person. Okay, special permissions for just one person. The person is not the owner, is not the group, but will have special permissions, right? So let's quickly I hope you understand the scenario I just painted. So let's quickly just show it on the command line so I don't waste your time. So right here on the command line, that file 2, let's go back as root. Put in the wrong password. Remember that file 2 is in PWD, is within Umar's home directory. And remember that I mentioned that one person is not allowed in the other person's home directory. Who is the other person we created? The other user we created? Chris. Okay. So now you remember that Chris, let's say, you know that Chris cannot have access in Umar's home directory, right? So now as root, some of the things we've learned before is about to come to play. So as root now, I want to go to, so I'm in Umar's home directory, right? Now I want to go to home and then give Chris permission to Umar's home directory here. So what I will do, you people already know the idea of CD space ... You know what I'm doing here. You are not new to that. And what does this do?
Takes you a
Takes you
step
one
back.
step.
That means it will take you to
Take me to what? Where?
Take you to home because home is the
Okay,
same
good.
thing.
It takes me to home. Can you see now that here it is showing home? Here it was showing Umar, right? And then if I do my PWD, you see that I'm in /home. So now I want to do something that is not normal. I want to give Chris special permissions into Umar's home directory. So I can now say set FACL set FACL -M, okay, and then I will say who is the user again? Chris. I can't remember this command, but let's see. RWX. Is it Chris? No. It should be user user Chris RWX. And then I'll say /home/Umar. I hope this works. Good. It works. So if I now say ls-l, you will see that what has happened here is that you look at Umar's own home directory, right? You can see this plus here. It means something. You can see that others don't have that plus, okay? By the time I ls Umar, if I come here and I set FACL on, yes, say -M U Chris RWX file 3. What's happening now? Oh, okay. I've not moved into that directory. So now, if I run this command again, ls, you can see that the color of file 3 has also changed. So in a case like this, you want to investigate and see what's going on. You can say get FACL, right? And then you can say Umar file 3. Can you see how it presents it and lets you know that, look, oh, this file here, the owner is Umar, the group is this, but there's one thief here that they have added extra as RWX. That user is not the owner, is not a group, but it has RWX. You can decide to, check this further or watch this video. Once it's ready, this video will be put on, the link will be put in your group so that you can watch it over and over again, and then you'll be able to get it. But here is where we will draw the curtain. There are a lot of other tips and tricks that you can use in Linux that are very, very interesting and that can get you going on, right? I don't think Linux is tough. I don't think open source technologies are hard to get. I think it's the way you are being trained. I think it's the way that the instructor is able to not only understand the technology, but understand how to pass the knowledge. I think it's about being able to come to your level and explain things in such a way that everybody can get along. I want to thank you all for spending time with us, learning. Ensure that you spread the word to your colleagues, and then they can join some of the coming boot camps that we'll have. Even if it's the Linux one alone, we do that every other month. Next month is going to be OpenShift. look out for the emails. You will be emailed, and ensure that you join. For the Linux ones, share with some of your colleagues, either they are in Linux-focused departments or not. As tech people, it's really important to understand Linux. And this little understanding of Linux can be what changes the amount of revenue that you pull in every month, right? So thank you very much for joining. I, as a courtesy, will ensure that all of you that participated in the first quiz will get something. But before we jump on, let us quickly give you the second quiz. It's a quick one so that everybody can get a gift. We are giving you access to a learning subscription. And that's what so for the second quiz, this is what I want you guys to jump on so that you can get access to our learning subscriptions. Quickly, let's do this in just a few minutes and we are out.